Thank you, Ramesh, for giving us time, and welcome to the New Indian Express Sports Talk.
My pleasure.
Going back to the World Cup, where Praggnanandha will be playing his semi-final. So, how do you see his progress? So, I mean, like you were saying that you want him to be independent. So, can a chess player be independent at the age of 16, 17, or does it take a lot of effort for the player to be
No,
independent?
it takes tremendous amount of effort. That's why most people are not able to do this. How it happened is like last year, 2021, when Prague was playing in Tata Steel Masters. It's one of the strongest tournaments in the world. It happens in Netherlands annual event. Prague was invited in that tournament, and I accompanied him. And we were supposed to stay in the same room. He was like 16-year-old kid, 15 or 16-year-old. And I got COVID when the day I reached there. When they tested, I tested positive for COVID, and I was quarantined in a different room, and Prag was forced to stay alone. So he had to he eats vegetarian on many days, and it's not easily accessible everywhere. So usually we cook and eat, and he had to learn cooking by himself, and commuting to the playing hall, coming back, staying alone. It was the first time he was doing all this, and it's happening in the middle of a major event, a big event. So this adaptation, I felt it could affect his performance, but he coped very well. So we both were sitting in the same hotel, different rooms, and I was just we have Zoom calls or WhatsApp calls, and I was guiding him, and he handled it very well. He handled the pressure, everything. He was very good being independent. So I felt like this is the direction we should take, because I'm also growing old, cannot be with him forever, and he has to learn to do things himself. So I kept telling him, like, you have to go for a walk in the evening, even if no one is there. You have to follow a strict routine, go to the bed at the same time, because when you're alone, it's very easy to maybe just watch some series or play some video games, and then you feel okay, some more time, and then it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. It can easily happen to a teenager, but he has the willpower. Like we will agree on a pre-arranged time, like 10 to 10:30 has to sleep. No matter what, he will sleep, and he will get up at a particular time, so he gets enough sleep. And all this discipline, not skipping the breakfast, having lunch on time. So we have a very healthy routine in place, which he follows no matter where he goes. And this kind of off-the-board things are also very, very important. The discipline a player shows outside of chess, I think that influences the decisions they take on the board as well.
And talking about the young chess players you're talking about, like especially Gukesh, Pragg, Arjun also.
Yeah.
So this new crop of chess, is it taking Indian chess to the right direction, and how is it taking?
Yes, and if you notice one thing about these children, I believe, at least I know for sure in Pragg's case, we had discussed when he came to me, we started working, I told we should stay away from movies, serials, internet, and use internet only for chess purposes, learning purposes, otherwise not for socializing and so on. And you have to kind of dedicate yourself for chess, which was very easy for Pragg, because he knew he is very talented, and he knew he is going to be hopefully a world champion. That was his dream from a very young age, and he knew, like, if he gets into all this mess, then he can say goodbye to his chess aspirations. So he has had that willpower and discipline to keep himself away from all this. Even now, he doesn't have any video games or Netflix in his mobile phone. It's very easy for him to download it, hardly going to take a minute. But he has the willpower to stay away. And this is very important for the other young aspiring chess players. That's why I'm mentioning this. It's extremely important. It's the children you are seeing at the top who are doing well. They have learned self-discipline, self-control over all these temptations. We have to stay away from this. I would strongly urge this for all the children out there.
So this now, like when you're talking about a youngster, they are doing well. So sometimes they come up with players like higher rated players. So does that ELO rating matter when they play? Like, for example, Caruana is like the third highest in the history of chess, and Pragg will be playing
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for normal players, this will matter a lot. Like one of the common problems we see as trainers among young children is the young players are very scared to play with lower rated players. Now, lower rated players means you can say it's like a strong player is scared of playing a weaker player. This doesn't make sense logically, but this is very common in chess. It's simply because they are thinking like, if I lose to this player, I will lose a lot of rating points. When you lose to a lower rated player, you lose a lot of rating points. And when you lose to a higher rated player, you don't lose much. So this plays a big impact in their mind, and they're always thinking like, what if I lose to this guy, even before they play or while they are playing. So this is very unhealthy, because in a sport you should not think too much about what should not happen. Rather, you should focus on what should be happening and how you can contribute to it. So the children are playing not to lose rather than to win, and this should not be the ideal case. So it's very important children don't pay too much attention to the rating, their own rating or their opponent's rating. And the rating is also simply a reflection of what has happened in the past. So I tell my students not to associate themselves with the rating. If my rating is X, and if I think my strength is X because my rating is X, then they cannot go to Y. So because they will be tied to X. So they will start believing that is where they belong to. So it is very important to see their current rating as just a number. It is like you are going from one station to the other, and there are many small stations along the way. But you know, like this is a temporary pass, and your journey is going to go forward. So it's very important not to associate themselves with their current rating, but believe their strength is much higher. And through my good effort and hard work and the learning that happens as a result, I'll grow stronger and my rating will get better. So Prag will hardly pay any attention to Caruana's rating. I'm sure about this. But he knows Caruana is a very strong player who has played in World Championship against Magnus quite well. Extremely strong player. But how I think Prag will look at this as a fantastic experience to play against a good player. That's how we see. Any opportunity to play with a stronger player, we see as a kind of a boon or a blessing.
Yeah, so
that's how we learn.
Exactly, and then Prag is used to winning. So how difficult it is for you to motivate him or to teach him about his mistakes when he loses?
You need motivation. It is like you need to feed someone only when he is hungry. When the stomach is full, you don't need to feed him.
He's not used to losing. Then what do you?
No, for us, like generally, like how people look is like how I tell my students is like we see winning, draw, losing, something like this. So this is winning, this is losing, this is good, this is bad. How I normally tell my students is like winning, drawing, losing. It's like vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, something like this. They are just three different experiences, and I tell my students like till you become a world champion, you are always a student. So you're always, for student, learning is the priority. And it means we still don't know so many things. Like in Tamil, there is a saying, Katrathu kaimannalavu, kalladadu ulagalavu. It means what we know is like fistful of sand. How much sand we can hold in one hand. And what we don't know is like size of the universe. And you have to evolve. And you should not be rigid. Like I know everything and I'm doing everything perfectly. We should never feel that way. There is always scope for improvement. So this keeps him always on the toes. So he is playing tournaments largely to learn. And the results are just a consequence of how he is playing. So losses does not affect Prag in the same way as it does others. So for us, even from a last game, we can learn something good and grow in the process. And that's how we try to look at losses. So it doesn't hurt us so much as it does others. And he is quite good at this.
Accepting losses or learning from the losses.
He can accept losses very gracefully. And he will be sad, he will be disappointed for some time. That's a very natural reaction. But he wouldn't judge himself too harshly.
So Carlsen was talking while you were coaching there. His academy used to tell people, the students, be like Prag. So be like Prag would be what achievement would you think would be like Prague? Like you
No,
talking about
I'm
world
not talking
championship.
about the. I'm not talking about the achievements at all.
Are you talking
It's all
about
these
attitude?
characteristics.
Correct.
All these characteristics. His priorities. So when I was talking to the children in this Nordic countries during this camp, like everyone was like, I was asking like, are you all happy with the effort you have put? And do you think you have done enough for your chess growth? And every single one of them said no. I took a picture also. So I said like, please raise your hand. Everyone in the room raised their hand. I took a picture I have in my phone, and everyone said like, I'm not doing what I should be doing. Then I said, who is stopping you? Is there anyone stopping you? Is the society or parents or coaches or anyone in your family or friends, they are stopping you from putting the good effort? I said, no one. It's us. I said, why? Then they said, like, we have other priorities. We have other commitments. So in the West, they teenagers, they
Much more independent.
much
they take
more.
their decisions.
I wouldn't call it independent. Lack self-control, I would say. So they give total freedom to their desires and impulsions, and as a result, they exercise less self-control over themselves. So they feel like if I give in to my cravings, it's freedom. I wouldn't call it. It's a lack of self-control, I would say. So I tried to explain this to them, and I gave Pragg as an example. Like he can easily play video games, he can have friends, he can socialize a lot, he can go to partying and all this stuff. But he consciously avoids them because that's the price he's paying for becoming a better chess player. And becoming a better chess player makes him more happy than all these other things combined could have made him. So this is, in this sense, I said be like Pragg.
So what would I mean? Like you have been focused. I mean, saying that he is the future world champion. I mean, could be the future world champion.
I'm not saying he's the world champion, but he wants to be the world champion.
Yeah, and then how long will that journey take, or is there any specific target you have fixed, both of you?
No,
or
it's
is
very
it just a natural process you are waiting for?
We cannot wait for things to happen. We have to be proactive. We have to play the lead role. It's like you are in a lake where the water is not moving much, and you are in a boat with the rowers in your hand. So you have to do the rowing job. In a fast flowing river, you don't have to do anything. The water will take care in which direction and what speed you have to go. But in our career, we have to largely depends on the rowing process. So we are the active participants. So the way I see as a professional, from my understanding of how I understand Pragg, I think he can be a world champion in another 3 to 5 years. I'm hoping it will happen in this time frame.
And is this World Cup also will give him
Yes,
opportunity to be in the
this is already given
bigger
him
games?
an opportunity to play in the candidates, which we did not think would happen this time. So Pragg was largely focusing on the match against Hikaru Nakamura. So because that's a big hurdle, he has defeated Magnus also recently in another format of the game. So Hikaru is a very dangerous opponent. He could be extremely dangerous. So we were largely focusing till that point. And if we can beat Hikaru, then that will give a lot of confidence. And we can meet the further opponents with more confidence. Because nothing like confidence. If you have great results and you feel very good about yourself, then all your positive qualities will come out. And when you are dejected, upset, lacking confidence, all your negative qualities will come out. So till we overcome Hikaru, it's like we are in like 50-50 situation, not sure about our form and all this. Because he is such a great player, he can smash us also. It won't be very surprising. So the way Pragg handled Hikaru, overcame him in the tiebreak convincingly. And in general, I think probably Pragg he comes close to playing perfect chess most of the time. Most of the time he plays almost perfect chess.